It's episode 13 of Survivor China, and last time, Alec attempted to get himself out of trouble after losing Betty, successfully remaining in Steph's good graces. On the other hand, Maria tried to get the Phoenixes back together, but the main wrenches in her plan were Daniela and Hannah. After Shelby won her first immunity necklace, she wanted to take charge of the vote and target Hannah, someone who has become closer to Alec recently, a bit too close for her liking. With Maria and Roland on board, they needed Daniela and Julian in order to have the numbers. However, Hannah, Alec, Garth, and Steph had their own plan to send out Maria thanks to Daniela pushing her name. At Tribal Council, many shady statements were exchanged, and in the end, Maria was voted out with 6 of the 9 votes, becoming the 4th juror of the season. 8 people are left, and after this episode, only 6 will remain. Who will survive? We'll find out soon. It's night 27 after Tribal Council, and everyone is at camp getting ready for bed. Roland and Shelby meanwhile stand together and observe everyone else. In confessional, Shelby says she's absolutely speechless right now because the whole tribe flipped on her to vote out Maria. It's especially awkward because she went against Alec, and Hannah is still here, probably after her now. The only other person currently here who voted for Hannah is Roland, and he's no help at this point. Alec and Hannah step aside from camp for a moment, and Hannah tells Alec she couldn't feel better right now. She's just so happy they trusted Daniela on this one because it saved her game. In confessional, Hannah says she's so glad Daniela stuck to her word and voted out Maria as planned. Right now, Roland, Shelby, and Julian are on the outs, and hopefully it'll stay that way so Madame Thorina can make it to at least the final 5. Then, she'll still have Alec and Daniela in her corner as numbers. Alec then tells Hannah that he's ready to run with this 5 they have now, and Hannah agrees. She also can't believe Shelby would flip so easily, but Alec says he's not surprised since Shelby and Maria were like mother and daughter out here. In confessional, Alec says he feels so much closer to Hannah after this vote, so now he wants to strengthen this relationship to the max by sharing the information of his idol. This is what he did with Garth and Steph, and they are his 2 closest allies right now. Alec then tells Hannah that he also wants to be clear that he has an idol from the boba shop, and Hannah gasps and says that's amazing. She then shares that she also has an idol from very early on during the boat reward, and Alec's jaw drops in reaction. Both Alec and Hannah cheer together, and in confessional, Alec laughs to himself because nobody else has this type of superior game that he has. He just misted someone into telling him they have an idol, which basically solidifies they are now ride or dies. Things couldn't be going better for him now. It's day 28, and Alec, Steph, and Shelby are together. Alec asks Shelby why she flipped last night to try voting out Hannah, despite their boba deal, and Shelby says she just cannot trust that girl. She's very sneaky, and people for some reason don't see it and think she's loyal. Alec then says it's evident Hannah is loyal because she stuck to her guns last night and voted Maria. In confessional, Shelby says she can tell Alec is pissed off at her for going against his wishes last night. The trust they used to have in this merge has dissipated. At this point, whatever Alec tells her, she'll take with a grain of salt. Alec then tells Shelby that it hurts she went behind his back like this to snipe out Hannah. It almost feels like an attack against his own game. He thought she was an honest player within this alliance. Shelby doesn't say anything in response, and in confessional, Alec says he can't trust Shelby. It's the ultimate betrayal of the season. Shelby wasn't truthful yesterday, and now she has to pay with her life in this game. She might be one of the next 2 to go. Roland and Julian chat on the other side of camp, and Roland admits he feels very lost without Maria. They did everything together, so being without her feels so strange. Julian hugs Roland, telling him the game has to go on now. He had a similar experience with Jeannie, yet he's still here, fighting for his life each and every day. In confessional, Julian says he kind of sees Roland as a lost puppy dog. He lost Maria, his owner, so now he needs a new owner, which could be somebody on this tribe. So, why not be the first one to try adopting him? Julian then tells Roland that they need to stick together at this point. Alec is their biggest enemy. He needs to go next, no question. It's time for the next immunity challenge, so everyone stands on the challenge mat in front of Justin. Justin then calls up Shelby to return her necklace, so she follows through and heads up. Justin then claims that immunity is back up for grabs, and today's challenge is simple. They will need to hold up a statue flat on a hand. If the statue drops or it doesn't remain flat, you are out. The last player standing will win immunity, safe from the vote. Losers will be vulnerable tonight as someone will be the 15th person voted out of this game. With that, everyone is now stood up with a hand extended as they hold up a statue each. Justin then confirms that this challenge is on, so anyone who drops will be out. Everyone remains calm and solid, not yet feeling any pain. Justin then reminds everyone that they are 7 days away from completion of this season, which includes today, so every immunity counts now. Hannah then begins to sweat profusely, though keeping her hands still. Julian begins to wobble but quickly recovers. Justin then says that they've been in this position for 10 minutes now, and everyone seems pretty solid except for Alec. Alec then says he's losing focus, and his hand starts shaking like crazy until his statue falls. Justin then confirms Alec is the first eliminated, so he stands on the side. 7 people remain, and Roland and Shelby look rock solid. Alec then asks Shelby out loud if she can win another immunity, and Shelby tells Alec he's not going to get her to drop so easily. Alec smiles and says he's not trying to sabotage her, but Shelby says he's better off keeping his yap shut. Suddenly, Daniela drops her statue, meaning she's the next eliminated. 40 minutes have now passed in this challenge, and the remaining 6 are still in the challenge. Garth's hand shakes in pain, though he keeps his statue up. Julian suddenly drops his statue, making him the 3rd eliminated, and he curses out loud in anger. Garth then drops his statue next, and Steph also drops, claiming she has had enough. Just like that, only Shelby, Roland, and Hannah remain in this challenge, all 3 remaining still and solid. Another 20 minutes pass, and Justin claims they have all been up there for an hour now. Hannah's hand begins to wobble a bit, but she continues to keep her focus locked in. Roland breathes in and out heavily, trying to keep steady, and Shelby stays rock solid with her statue. Another 15 minutes pass in this challenge, and Shelby starts to groan in pain for the first time in this challenge. Hannah continues to wobble her hand, and then, Shelby drops her statue. That means it's down to Roland and Hannah, both feeling very unsteady with their statues. Alec then tells Hannah to focus, and Roland jokingly thanks Alec for rooting him on. Another 10 minutes pass, and Hannah's sweat starts to bother her. Roland meanwhile breathes in and out heavily, trying to remain calm and focused. Both Hannah and Roland are shaking in pain, trying to keep their statues up longer than the other. Roland's statue then almost falls off, but he saves it. But then, it falls off after a huge wobble, meaning Hannah has won immunity, safe from the vote. Everyone cheers loudly for Hannah, and she shakes her arms from the pain. Roland then sighs and congratulates Hannah, and she tells him he put in a good fight. Back on the mat, Justin congratulates Hannah on her win, inviting her up for the necklace. She then heads up as everyone claps for her, and then Justin puts the necklace around her neck. He then confirms she will not be leaving tonight. As for everyone else, someone will be the 15th person voted out and the 5th member of the jury. Everyone then makes their way back to camp, and in confessional, Hannah says she's so glad she won immunity and kept it away from Shelby and Roland. Those 2 are 100% the targets tonight, so as long as one of them goes, she is thriving in her position on this tribe. Back at camp, Alec gives Hannah a hug for her clutch win, and she thanks him for his support in that challenge. Alec then asks if anyone wants to head to the well, and everyone except Roland and Shelby decide to go with him. In confessional, Shelby says it's very evident the vote will be her or Roland tonight. She just hopes it's not her, but hoping is not enough. She needs to actively save herself from eviction tonight. She is not going to leave this fuck-ass tribe just yet. Shelby then tells Roland she's so pissed off at how obvious the divide is. These people don't even care to hide it. Roland shrugs and says it's just how the game rolls. At least they might have Julian. Shelby says they might not even have him because he's glued to Steph's hip. They might not even have any numbers on their side tonight. At the well, the other 6 chat together, and Alex says they can use this time to discuss how they want to vote. They can choose either Shelby or Roland. Steph then says she feels like Roland is a better competitor in challenges than Shelby, but that's about it. Daniela agrees and says that while Roland doesn't really execute plans by himself, he's still capable of winning challenges, which allows him to gain more power in this game. In confessional, Daniela says she feels pretty secure right now in this new alliance. She feels like Alec trusts her now, and since he's calling the shots for the most part, it's a good thing to remain on his good side. Once she figures out her own close allies, she might even be able to take a proper shot at him without missing, similarly to this previous Maria vote. Alec then asks the group if anyone has any good reasons to vote Shelby instead of Roland tonight, but nobody says a word. Alec then says it's locked and then for Roland to leave tonight. Julian later finds Shelby and Roland walking together, so he quickly joins them and says he's with them tonight. They need to vote for Alec. In confessional, Julian says he isn't falling for Alec's misting tactics. These people are dumb if they choose to keep him for another round. Now is the time to take him out while he's vulnerable. After tonight, there may never be a chance to get him out because he's so good at maintaining strong bonds with people. Shelby then tells Julian they are locked in for this Alec plan, and Julian says he's going to speak with Steph so she can hopefully make the move with them tonight. Julian later sees Steph with Alec, so he waits from a distance until they wrap up their chat. In confessional, Julian says he's nervous he won't convince Steph to flip on Alec because she's clearly very close to him on a game and personal level. However, Steph has gotten her way at a lot of these votes, so now it's time she takes a step back and listens to his own plan. Steph then leaves Alec, and then Julian asks her if they can chat. She then steps aside with him, and Steph tells him she just confirmed with the boys that it's Roland tonight. No tricks or anything. Julian then asks if she wants to instead do Alec this time, but Steph says it's too soon. There's no reason to flip because Roland is such an unreliable ally who doesn't do enough in this game to be trustworthy. Julian then tells Steph it's really difficult to have Alec out here because he has so many people trusting him, but Steph says that Alec is a huge shield for many, and that shield is about to burst soon. In confessional, Steph says she's not voting out Alec because she doesn't need to. If Alec is under her arm, why would she vote him out? She needs to vote out her actual threats, and Roland is a major immunity eater who needs to go now before it's too late. Shelby chats with Daniela, asking her if she considered voting Alec tonight, and Daniela says she would consider it if they have the votes. Shelby then claims that while they had their rocky history together, tonight could be the night they come together as a team. In confessional, Daniela says it's actually kind of insane, yet smart, to team up with Shelby. Nobody would expect it. They've had such a rough history together, and everyone knows it. If Shelby is desperate for an ally, this could be an opportunity to gain her trust. Shelby then says that the votes for Alec to go would be the two of them, Roland, Julian, and Steph. If they successfully pull this off, they are taking out a huge influencer in this game. In confessional, Shelby says it's time to finally take out the king of this tribe, Alec. It's time for the queen to step up, and that's Miss Shelby Dobbins. Alec Klein, Shelby has spoken. It's night 28, and the Ravagers tribe arrives to tribal council and they all sit down. Justin then welcomes their newest juror, Maria, and Roland blows her a kiss. Justin then looks at Shelby, telling her he saw quite the emotion in her face once again at a challenge, though this time a losing face. Shelby admits she was crushed because this immunity would have meant a lot to her game, but like she said last tribal, she will only have that one immunity win under her belt. She sucks at challenges otherwise. Justin then turns to Hannah, asking her if challenge wins in this endgame actually help someone's chances of winning a jury over, and Hannah says she sees challenges as a tool to get to Final 2. In terms of winning a jury over, that strictly relies on the social and strategy of a player. Shelby then says that challenge wins can be part of a juror's criteria for their vote, so not every juror will look at challenges as a nothing burger. Alec agrees and says that even one single challenge win can be seen as inspirational, which could win some jury votes, and Shelby immediately groans and tells Alec to stop being so shady towards her. Alec says he's not being shady, but Shelby says she can tell he's trying to make her into this big target so he can successfully take out his enemy. Alec squints and says he never actually saw her as his enemy, but Shelby tells him to cut the crap. It's getting quite annoying. Justin then asks Shelby what's really behind this drama with Alec, and Shelby says she's annoyed by the amount of power Alec holds in this game. People keep trusting this man, and while she was under his spell for some time, she managed to break free from it and see clear skies and rainbows. Alec then comments that he's surprised she didn't see death on the other side after flipping on him. Garth admits he only sees rainbows on this side of the tribe, and Shelby comments that he has been in the rainbow all season because his game is non-existent. Justin then asks Daniela if Shelby is someone she sees as a problem in this endgame, and Daniela says she wouldn't call Shelby a problem necessarily. Sure, she's on the bottom, but everyone has been on the bottom at some point in this game. Shelby's just trying to fight her way through any cracks. Justin then asks Roland if he feels like tonight's vote will be this tribe's first simple one, and Roland says he thinks so. He doesn't think Alec's crew will break. Alec smirks and says he's fascinated by how everyone thinks it's his crew, as if he's the leader of it, and Shelby says he practically is. That's how it always has been, but he refuses to own it. Hannah then says there's a difference between being a leader and being a social butterfly, and Shelby tells Hannah she's neither of those things, especially proven these last few rounds when she decided to flip on her bestie Daniela just to work with Alec. Daniela smiles and looks around, and Hannah tells Shelby she's very spicy tonight. Shelby then says she's just spilling everything at this point because she has nothing to lose. If tonight is her night to go, so be it. At least she went out fighting. Hannah says sure, and then asks Justin if they can just go with the vote. Justin says they can, so everyone then gets ready for it.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote, Alec. Roland. That's one vote Alec, one vote Roland. Roland. 2 votes Roland. Roland. 3 votes Roland, 1 vote Alec. Alec. That's 3 votes Roland, 2 votes Alec. Roland. 4 votes Roland, 2 votes Alec. Fifteenth person voted out of Survivor China and the 5th member of the jury. Roland.
Roland gets up out of his seat and Shelby breathes out and looks up at Roland. Alec meanwhile smiles and Jeannie whispers to Adam that these people are fools for keeping Alec. Roland then puts his torch down next to Justin and watches his torch get snuffed. He then makes his way out and Shelby comments how this will be an interesting endgame for her. Justin then tells the final 7 to head back to camp, so they start making their way out. Roland's final thoughts: Roland isn't surprised that he got out, nor does he care. Alec is just too strong to beat at this point, and maybe it's partially his and Maria's faults for not taking him out sooner. All credit to him. If these people don't turn on him, Shelby is the next to go, and it's pretty guaranteed at this point unless she can win immunity or find an idol. Back at camp, everyone arrives, and Shelby comments how she's ready to bring it on with each and every last one of them. Alec tells her she chose to be in this position, and Shelby tells him so what. She's damn proud of herself for at least attempting to make moves in this game. In confessional, Shelby says she just knows Alec feels like the king of this tribe, so let him think that. He'll get overconfident, which will eventually be his downfall. Hopefully she's still in the game to witness it. It's day 29, and Alec and Steph chat together. Alec mentions how they are days away from the end, and he cannot wait for them to reach Final 2 together. Steph says she's already thinking about her speech. In confessional, Steph says she always wondered who Alec wants to sit with in the Final 2. He has a lot of people who trust him, so it has always been unclear who he's fully loyal to until the very end. Steph then asks Alec how he's going to manage Garth going forward, considering they have to vote him out eventually. Alec says he'll just have to claim to Garth that they played similar games, so in order for himself to have a chance to win, he has to go. Steph nods silently, and Alec asks her the same question, just about Julian. Steph then tells him that Julian has to be voted out because of his underdog status. It could win a jury over if he has a motivational speech in the end. In confessional, Alec says he oddly feels the most comfortable with Steph in the game. She's basically his true Final 2 at the moment. The only problem is he'll have to cut Garth in the future, and that's something he's not looking forward to. Though, you never know in this game. Maybe things will change, and Garth will become his new Final 2 plan. Daniela and Hannah meanwhile chat, and Daniela asks what her endgame plans are right now. Hannah tells her she wants to make Final 2 with her, and that's just her main focus. Daniela says she obviously wants the same thing, but in confessional, Daniela laughs out loud and says there's no chance Hannah would take her to Final 2. Hannah is such a liar in this moment, it's not even hard to read her face. She always tells people what they want to hear, and it's very annoying. Daniela then asks her who she wants out next, and Hannah says that Shelby is their simplest vote. It's probably the smartest before the majority has to take out each other. Daniela then comments how even Alec could go pretty soon since he's the biggest threat remaining, and Hannah says of course. In confessional, Hannah says she just got Daniela caught in a trap. With her mentioning Alec's name, she can bring this information to Alec, and then he'll probably gun after Daniela. It leaves little old Hannah in the middle of yet another war between Alec and someone else. This is basically a setup for Alec to take out Shelby and Daniela for these next 2 votes. Hannah then goes to Alec, letting him know that Daniela might be a problem for their games because she thinks he's going home soon. It was in a way where she was actually down to take him out. Alec tells her it's not a surprise because Daniela has always had his name in her mind. In confessional, Alec says that as long as he holds 3 people on this tribe close to him, he has the numbers to stay no matter what. Those 3 are Hannah, Garth, and Steph. As long as they stay loyal to him and the four of them vote as a collective, they can send home Shelby, Daniela, and Julian in back-to-back votes. Alec then tells Hannah that they need to at least keep strong with Steph and Garth since they are their best chance at survival. Hannah says she likes this, and she's ready to finally take out either Shelby or Daniela. It's time for the next immunity challenge. Justin calls up Hannah to hand over the necklace, so she comes up front and hands it over. Justin then claims immunity is back up for grabs. For today, everyone will be on a board with a bunch of tiles, and each round, everyone must move onto a tile. That tile will no longer be in play, meaning nobody can step onto it anymore. If two or more players decide to step onto the same tile, they will draw rocks for who stays on that tile. The other person or people would need to pick another vacant tile. If anyone runs out of moves, they are out. There's also no moves that can be done diagonally. The last player standing wins individual immunity, safe from the vote. The challenge is now set up with each player on a starting tile of their choosing. The tiles then flip over to the black side as nobody can go on those tiles anymore. Justin then says it's time to begin with round 1, so everyone steps on a new tile. Round 2. Round 3. Both Daniela and Shelby step on the same tile, and after random draw, Daniela keeps the tile and Shelby must go back to her original and choose another. However, since Shelby has no other choices, she is eliminated. Round 4. Daniela has no more moves, so she's eliminated. Round 5. Steph has no more moves, so she's eliminated third. Round 6. Round 7. Round 8. Round 9. Round 10. Since Hannah and Alec both have no more moves left, they are eliminated together. And for round 11, Julian runs out of moves, which means Garth has one individual immunity, safe from tribal council tonight. Back on the mat, Justin calls up Garth, so he heads up and receives his necklace. Justin confirms he will not be leaving tonight. As for everyone else, someone will be the 16th person voted out of this game, making them the 6th member of the jury. Everyone then makes their way out, and in confessional, Hannah says she's really glad that Garth ended up winning immunity today because it isn't in the hands of Shelby, Daniela, or Julian. She's especially happy it's not Daniela's necklace because the goal for tonight is to blindside her. It'll be great to finally take her down as one of the greater threats remaining out here. Back at camp, Garth goes up to Steph and she congratulates him on his win again. He thanks her and asks if she wants to head out for a moment with him, so she follows him. In confessional, Garth says he wants to pull Steph aside as one of his close allies and just see if they are on the same page for tonight's vote. Garth and Steph are now away from camp, and Garth asks Steph if she perhaps wants to cut Julian out tonight, but Steph says it's too soon. They still have 3 phoenixes here, so one of them has to go tonight. Garth then asks which one she thinks is better to take out first then, and Steph says she'd like to send Hannah onto the jury. In confessional, Steph says she needs to vote Hannah out because it's possible she has a final 2 deal with Alec. The more deals Alec has in this game, the better odds he has at surviving to the end. She needs him to prioritize her in this game and not someone else like Hannah. That also means Garth eventually has to go because he's probably Alec's bestie out here. Garth then tells Steph that they should communicate this plan with the others then, and Steph says it shouldn't be difficult since Shelby will be locked in for this. She already tried voting Hannah out before. Shelby, Daniela, and Julian meanwhile chat, and Shelby lets Daniela know that in the case she wasn't aware already, Hannah is trying to work with Alec the most. She's basically up his ass 24 hours every day now. Daniela says she's aware. Hannah is literally talking to him right now. In confessional, Daniela says she's tired of Hannah since the Betty vote off since she voted for Steph rather than Betty. It's as if she wanted to split her vote in case of some idle plays. If Hannah is the true target tonight, there's no saving her this time around. Shelby then says she's actually scared of Hannah's gameplay because she can easily divide this tribe up and force people to believe what she says. It's working on Alec. Daniela admits it was probably better to get her out 2 rounds ago instead of Maria, but what happened in the past cannot be changed now. In confessional, Julian says he's not sure why Hannah is the target over Alec, but if he speaks up about it, people might just rat him out to Alec. That's the last thing he needs right now. While it's annoying to watch Alec play such a dominant game, he'll have to work around it and just vote Hannah off tonight. Daniela then chats with Steph, asking her if she's down to do Hannah tonight, and Steph says absolutely. She's been waiting for this moment because Hannah has never been fully trustworthy. Daniela then says it'll weaken Garth and Alec going into Final 6, and there will be more options to choose from. In confessional, Steph says she's glad she's on the same page with Daniela. This Hannah blindside is perfect for both of them because it limits Alec's options going forward. It probably doesn't even benefit Daniela as much as herself, but hey, if she's down for it, that's better than not. Hannah, Alec, and Garth chat together, and Hannah asks if they want to vote Daniela tonight. Garth says sure, and Alec says he's cool with that as well. Hannah then says that if they take out Daniela, that removes a huge threat in their way with challenges and even possible idol factors. In confessional, Hannah says she would love to see Daniela go tonight because she's the main obstacle in her way of reaching the end. Once she goes, she has Alec, Garth, and maybe even Steph and Julian who would probably want to work with her in these last few rounds. Later on, Steph is with Alec, letting him know that the majority is voting Hannah tonight. He's the last person to find out of this plan, so there's really no flipping this time. Alec looks at Steph, admitting he's a bit shocked, and Steph says they need to follow through because it's eliminating a Phoenix, just as they planned. In confessional, Alec laughs to himself and says he knows exactly what Steph is doing right now. She's removing any possibility of him keeping Hannah because she knows him and Hannah have gotten closer in the game. He needs to continue playing the game as a self-interested player if he wants to win, so even though Steph thinks they are all just going to vote Hannah out, she might be wrong. Alec then tells Steph he'll go through with this then, and Steph also lets him know that if Garth never told him this plan, he might want to reassess that relationship. She would have expected Garth to inform him. Alec says it's fine. He'll go check with Garth later. Alec is then with Garth, asking him if he heard Hannah's name today, and Garth admits he did. He was waiting for Steph to potentially break that news to him because it was all her idea. Alec says he feels like shit voting Hannah because they just agreed to all vote for Daniela. In a way, it's better for the two of them to keep Hannah. Garth shakes his head though, telling Alec it's probably best to let go of Hannah and keep Steph close. She's their key number right now. Alec then says that Hannah is indebted to them, especially if she finds out her name is out there, but Garth says he just doesn't want to face the wrath of Steph after tonight. In confessional, Garth says he needs to go with his gut here, and his gut is telling him to keep Steph happy and just go with the Hannah vote. Alec will just have to deal with it. He's had his way many times before anyway. Before Tribal Council, Julian chats with Steph and Shelby, asking them why they don't just do Alec tonight. Steph then says she doesn't want Hannah to be an easy number for anyone in this endgame. If they keep Alec in top 6, they can all just agree to vote him out next or in the round after. Shelby says she backs Steph on this one. It's the smartest thing they can all do to ensure they stick together until Final 4 with Daniela. In confessional, Shelby admits that Steph most definitely benefits the most keeping Alec around because for her game, Alec is a great shield to have. But there's nothing that can be done right now to switch the vote onto Alec without flipping Steph against her. It's best to just make the easy move and eliminate Hannah first. Julian then tells the two that he doesn't feel good about taking Alec through another round, but Steph promises him they'll be able to take him out next round or Final 5. He's not some challenge beast they need to worry about anyway. In confessional, Steph says that tonight is the night to take Hannah out. Alec needs to be weakened in any way possible so that he takes her to Final 2 if given the opportunity. She can't let Alec get away with having 3 tight allies. If Julian decides to make a scene at Tribal to try getting Alec out, he'll be destroying his own game, and she can't save him any further. It's night 29, and everyone arrives to Tribal Council and sits down. Justin then welcomes the newest jury member, Roland. He then turns to Garth first, asking him how today's immunity win impacted his approach to today's Tribal Council. Garth then says it has a huge impact because it makes him feel a lot more confident that he will stay. In fact, he knows he's 100% staying, so he's not as worried as other people. Justin then asks Hannah if she also felt her confidence go up when she won immunity last time, and Hannah says it definitely does. However, you don't want to let your guard down. Even if you have a way to save yourself for the round, you need to think ahead in the game. Alex speaks up and says he agrees. However, he also thinks confidence can help you make necessary moves in the game. Shelby then interrupts and says she actually learned the hard way that confidence destroys you out here. She tried making a move and failed to make it work. Alec then tells her that the difference between someone like her and someone like Hannah or Garth in this case is the level of intelligence put into a move that is made. Shelby then immediately stops Alec and tells him he's extremely rude for no reason. He's calling her dumb and slow, but Alec tells her he never even said that. Steph also jumps in and tells Shelby she didn't need to go that far, and Betty from the jury bench also says out loud that people should stop using the word slow. Shelby then laughs to herself and says that she's easy to be ganged up against in this case because nobody truly cares about her now. If she's on her own island, it's easy to be ganged up against. And she can't even use the word bully because she'll get yelled at. Many people make a confused face, and Hannah tells Shelby she can't just loosely use bullying as a way to victimize herself. Shelby says she doesn't care anymore and would like to just remain quiet for the rest of tonight. Hannah then shakes her head and rolls her eyes, and Justin asks Julian what he thinks about all of this. Julian laughs and says he feels like tonight is just really insane. He feels for Shelby and he also feels for everyone else. It's weird. He doesn't know who he truly sides with in this case. Justin then asks Daniela if tonight's discussion changes any plans, and Daniela says it doesn't, at least for herself. Maybe other people will think twice, but she won't. She's locked in with who she said she was voting for tonight. Alec then turns to Hannah and stares, and Hannah looks back confused. Justin then asks Steph if this tribe will have an established hierarchy after tonight, but Steph says she doesn't think so. Everyone has an equal shot to reach the end and get voted out. Big moves are going to happen, and now everyone has to ensure they aren't on the receiving end of one. Hannah then breathes out intensely, and Justin asks if everyone is ready to vote. Shelby then says she has one more thing to say, and it's just one simple statement. You cannot use personal feelings to advance in this game. Sometimes, you need to separate game from personal. That's the best approach to reach the end and win a jury over. Justin then tells everyone it's time to vote, so everyone prepares.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Hannah is using her hidden immunity idol tonight. She is playing her idol on herself. Any votes for Hannah will not count. I'll read the votes. First vote. Hannah does not count. 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 2 votes left. Daniela. That's 1 vote. Daniela, 1 vote left. 16th person voted out of Survivor China and the 6th member of the jury. Daniela.
Daniela gets up without much of a reaction and Hannah covers her face, unable to believe what she just pulled off. Steph looks around and then looks at Alec, but he keeps on a shook face. As Daniela goes for her torch, she tells Hannah she hopes that idol wasn't on her this whole season, but Hannah remains quiet. Daniela then puts her torch down next to Justin, and he snuffs her torch. Everyone then says goodbye to Daniela as she heads out, and Maria mouths to Shelby good luck. Justin then tells the group to head back to camp, so they start making their way out. Across 8 seasons of this show, we've seen many surprises. Every winner has fought their hardest to earn their crown. Stating that the Survivor China finale would be similar is actually wrong. If anything, things are about to be brutal. In the most chaotic finale yet, we will watch 4 vote-offs and a final tribal council standoff between 2 finalists. What will go down? And also, 1 juror's time is up and they will be the one sent home. This is the Survivor China finale episode. Stay tuned for what's to come. Daniela's final thoughts. Daniela sarcastically groans and says she got wrecked pretty badly tonight. Of course it's an idol that has to take her out of the game. She would be lying if she said she wasn't surprised. Hannah of all people having an idol. That's crazy to her. If she held on to that idol for so long, while it's impressive, it also hurts because she herself almost used 2 idols on that girl, and she showed no signs of having one. Idols are a part of the game, so she can't complain that she got eliminated by one.